everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big new fancy facelifted show.
Yep.
This is Comics from the Future all in absolute ultimate
Ultimate, yeah,
edition.
right.
So you may have noticed that we did a little bit of changing around. You'll see that also as we go through the show. We wanted to restructure this and make the categories make a little bit more sense and all that kind of stuff. But we're still tweaking it. You're going to be seeing some more little changes as we go forward, but this is just the start of a whole bunch of new cool stuff that we are doing over here on the YouTube channel.
And you may have noticed that we're doing this one day early as well because here in the South we're supposed to get the biggest blizzard ever. No, not really, but it's we're supposed to get some maybe heavy snowfall on Friday, and we wanted to go ahead and do this show now on Thursday just in case we aren't able to get here tomorrow because we did not want to leave you without all of this great information about all of the books that you can pre-order this weekend. So with that said, there is a small chance that maybe one or two things change between today and tomorrow, but as always, you can check infinityflux.net. That will have the most up-to-date information, and if anything, it may be like the FOC date for a book gets pushed back 1 week or something like that. It's very unlikely to change at this point, but because we are doing it one day early, there's a little bit of a chance that something might change.
Yes, and introduce you to Fluxbot, the little robot that's floating around. He's our new little mascot guy. You'll see him throughout the show, and let us know what you think of the new intro, all that stuff. But like always, we've got some big comics to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're starting with our first new segment, Prime Comic Pre-Orders. These are going to be kind of the big showstopper books that we want to make sure you don't miss out on. Starting with
One World Under Doom. So this is the start of Marvel's next big. My notes went away. Sorry. This is the start of the next big. I don't know if I want to call it an event. I guess maybe it is, but it's also just kind of a big status quo that's going to be looming over Marvel for the better part of this year. And it all gets kicked off right here with this #1 issue. This is going to be written by Ryan North and the art is by R.B. Silva. And we know that at the end of Blood Hunt, Dr. Doom became the Sorcerer Supreme. And then he pieced out back to Latveria and he sealed Latveria in a dome, and nobody has heard from him in 6 months. So, it's nice. We haven't had to worry about Dr. Doom for 6 months, but also, oh my gosh, what has Dr. Doom been doing for the last 6 months?
It's better that you see him than you don't see him.
And so, the heroes have been kind of worried. Like, he's the most powerful being on the planet, and he's been very, very quiet. So now, in this story, he emerges and declares himself the emperor of the world in a new united Latveria. And what's weird is all of Earth's leaders seem to be going along with this, whether it's brainwashing or bribery. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is that has made the Earth's leaders cool with this, it has not affected the Earth's heroes. So they quietly form this strike team to try to stop his plans, whatever it is. Well, I was going to say whatever it is he's up to, but he's up to taking over the world. So the heroes are going to come together to try to stop him. Will they succeed? Who knows? But what happens when some of the heroes begin to welcome their new emperor with open arms? So we might have a few heroes who are maybe thinking, hey, this isn't so bad. So, we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, this is going to be, I want to say that this main series is going to be 9 issues.
I believe it's 9 issues.
And if it's monthly, that means it's going to last, well into, October, maybe November. We've got there's a bunch of tie-in issues coming too that we will be talking about when the time comes. I know there's an issue of Fantastic Four that comes out soon that is kind of a prologue. But this is the main start. This is like the alpha issue right here. So it all kicks off.
And I imagine a lot of books, even your main titles, your X-Men books or Amazing Spider-Mans, will allude to this because it is such a big status quo thing that, it may not directly affect some books, but it is going to be kind of a blanket over the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Clayton Crane Doomasaur variant. I want that to happen.
That's his plan. That's how he controls the world, is he just has a big dinosaur.
There's a John Tyler Christopher Negative Space variant. There's an R.B. Silva variant. So that's your interior artist. That's what it's going to look like on the inside. There's a Rod Rice variant, and there is a Rose Besh variant.
I'm excited for this. I love Doom.
Same.
Just as, not even a hero or villain, just one of my favorite all-time comic book characters.
Yeah.
So I love this because we're just going to be getting a lot of Doom doing what he does, probably, waxing poetic, making some speeches, probably making some good points. That's usually what Doom does, even
Yeah.
though he's doing something bad. He tends to kind of have good reasons for
Yeah.
doing what he's doing. So I can't wait for this. And speaking of One World Under Doom, it's our kind of one of our biggest books that's going to be tied in with it, but also launching a new book is Red Hulk #1. So this is by Benjamin Percy. Is going to be writing it, and I'm very excited about this because I'm a big Red Hulk fan. We haven't got a whole lot of Red Hulk in recent times. Even with the Sam Wilson Captain America book, it's not Thunderbolt
Right.
Ross Red Hulk. And this is cool that it is starting off within One World Under Doom. It's kind of its you know, where it's going to branch out from. Because in Latveria, Doom has Thunderbolt Ross, Red Hulk, as a prisoner deep under the ground, I guess, from what it sounds like. And he has built a think tank, Doom has, of the world's greatest military, criminal, and political minds that I think is going to maybe explain some of how the big events in the main book, why people are following him and how his master plan is going to be unfolding. But even though Thunderbolt Ross is part of this, of course, he's got to have his own plans, his plans to break out and probably cause a lot of destruction along the way. This is also guest starring Machine Man and Deathlock, which I'm interested to see how those work in this as well. They're not really characters that you see
Yeah.
teamed up a whole lot.
I wouldn't have picked them to be in a book about Red Hulk.
No, but it sounds really cool, and we are getting the movie coming up with Red Hulk, so I'm just ready for this golden era of Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really, really cool. We've got some great covers for this as well. So this is our A cover. We have an Adam Kubert foil variant. I love just how big and bulbous he is on there. We have a Frank Miller cover, a Jacob Edgar Marvel Studios cover, which, yeah, definitely. It kind of looks like the A cover for
the Sam Wilson Captain America. Yeah.
We have a Todd Knock Icons variant, a John Romita Jr. variant, and a Joshua Cassara variant.
That one looks pretty cool.
I mean, that's a really reflective helmet if you can see that clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very cool. Very excited about this one.
Next up is Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor #1, second print. Now we're putting a second print way here at the top of the show because this originally came out back in 2023, and then we never got issues #2 and 3. Now basically what happened is it's not that 2 and 3 were late, it's that issue #1 was released way too early.
Yeah.
So issues #2 and 3 are now complete, and they're going to come out in March and April. And because it's been so long, DC is reprinting this #1 issue just in case you didn't pick it up or you forgot what it was about or something like that. So now it's basically on the original schedule that it should have been on all along. So if you don't remember what this one is about, this is written by Mark Waid. The art is about Brian Hitch. And this is a Black Label book, so it's disconnected from everything else. And Lex Luthor is dying, and he reaches out to Superman to try to get help finding a cure for whatever this illness is that he has. And Superman agrees, and he goes to the ends of the universe through different dimensions and across time to try to save Lex. And then it says, but why does he do it? Well, he's Superman, right? He tries to save everybody. But I did get the first issue when it came out. It was really, really good. I was excited for the second one, which never came. So it's almost like we're just starting over. It's like let's drop back and punt and start over again with a second print of #1, and then 2 and 3 will come out regularly scheduled after that. And this is the second print, so this is the only cover that we have.
Yeah. So don't blame any of the creators on this. It was I don't know how it kind of got out the door before it was ready, but I even knew when the #1 came with this, I knew that the other ones were far from being ready, and I was like, how are they going to manage this? So I'm glad that they're releasing this, and it's like, just pretend like that was like an early review copy.
Right.
And this is the official.
Yeah, this is the real one.
Next up, we have the Graveyard Club Fresh Blood #1. So this is by R.L. Stein and Carola Borelli. And if you remember, I think maybe 2023 is when we got Graveyard Club #1, or early 2024. I don't remember for sure. But it was almost a graphic novel sized one shot. I didn't know it was going to continue, but this is really cool. So This does follow up on the previous one. The members of the Graveyard Club, which is like this group of friends, attempt to move on from the events of last semester, but the disappearance of Parker and Rhonda's father is too big of a mystery to ignore. So if you read the first one, you know a little bit about what's going on here. But it says, but when they go to investigate, they uncover a lurking darkness. Will they survive to find the terrifying truth of the night that the parents went missing and all of that? So it's more of kind of a young adult rather than kind of the Goosebumps age. It's a little bit older than that, a little bit more intense, but still really fun. And for, longtime readers of R.L. Stine, it's great to see him working in comics. And we've got our A cover right here. We have a Mora variant. We have an anniversary Mercado variant. And we have the FOC reveal variant, which I believe looks like Tuolote.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe. Yep. Next up is Absolute Superman number 4. And in this one, Superman is going to meet the Omega Men, which have been teased in pretty much every issue. You know, who are the Omega Men? You would see spray painted in the background somewhere. So he's on the run. He's being chased by the Peacemakers and the Lazarus Corporation and their top agent, Lois Lane, which their interaction number 2 was really cool. And like I said, the Omega Men join the chase, but are they friends or foes to Superman? It remains to be seen. I don't even know who it's going to be in this. Like, are they going to be
No.
original character? Like, there's no telling what it'll look like.
Yeah, it's interesting because, the Omega Men in the history of DC Comics have had a lot of iterations.
Yeah.
You had the original one, that's where you had your first appearance of Lobo.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also had the one that Tom King
Tom
wrote,
King, yeah.
Where Kyle
Kyle
Rayner
Rayner,
was a
yeah.
member of it for a while. So yeah, I legitimately don't know what to expect
Yeah,
from
I have
this.
no idea.
It could be anything.
Yeah. So this is our A cover. There is a David Talaski variant. There's a Rajat variant, and there is a Kari Andrews variant, which he's been doing some stuff at Marvel, so it's cool to see him do some DC covers.
Next up, we have Magik number 2. Magik number 1 just came out this week. It was a big hit. We sold, if we're not sold out, we are very close to selling out of it. Everybody loves Magik, one of the coolest X-Men characters. And this one continuing from the previous issue with a lot of weirdness. The beginning of the issue with Magik kind of being like, hey, there's some mutants going missing. It seems like some kind of creature is attacking them. I'm going to go investigate that. Then we meet some other characters, this, grandmother and son.
Grandmother, I think it's her grandson and her grandmother, yeah.
That maybe know a little bit more about what's going on than anyone else does. And so we pick up from there. Magik and her new partner, Cal, who is the grandson, their investigation into these seals that new crow demon character was trying to break. This leads them to the Tokyo Underground, but has Cal teamed up with Earth's best chance against the upcoming demon invasion, or is he teamed up with its prophesied leader? And I think a lot of this has to do, we saw a lot of the stuff dealing with Darkchild in the first one, and that persona that's been kind of haunting Magik this whole time. So very interested to see where this goes. Plus, it's got some great covers, and yeah, very, very cool. So we've got our A cover here. We have a Mark Brooks animated style variant. You're going to be seeing a lot more of these later. This is really great because it's kind of based off of some just art he was playing around with and some styles, and Marvel's like, let's make those variant covers. And we have a Villalobos cover as well.
Next up is Marvel Mutts number 1, and this is another one of those books that collects some of the Marvel Infinity comics. So in this case, it collects issues 1 through 12 of the Marvel Mutts Infinity comic. And this is another one of those fun, cute stories. There's no dialogue, but it does feature a lot of the canine pals in Marvel, like Lockjaw, Lucky the Pizza Dog, Cosmo, Bats, and even Miss Marvel's dog, Mittens, and more. Usually it mentions something, but usually when they do these, there's like a new story that's new for this book. The solicitation didn't mention that, so I'm not sure if there's going to be one or not. But I've looked through the first couple issues on Marvel Unlimited, and it's really fun. Like, it starts off with a bang with Miss Marvel fighting Kraven the Hunter, which is really
Yeah.
cool. But you see it from the perspective of the dogs. That I think they bust into a pound or something, and there's some dogs there. So it's really cool to see that. I think that's maybe where she finds Mittens. So yeah, just a really cute book. With a bunch of who doesn't love dogs, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna get a bunch of them. And so this is our A cover. We have a Chrissy Zulo cover. I like that one.
I like how did Spider-Man find
Yeah,
himself
I
here?
haven't seen that, but I like that. And then there's a Ricky Yagawa variant.
Yeah,
Lucky's got his pizza.
I love how just that one, like he ate a piece of pizza in Hawkeye and stuff. Now it's like that's your brand,
Yeah,
dog. You
yeah.
are the pizza dog. Next up, we have Stranger Things, Dungeons and Dragons: Rise of the Hellfire. #1, it's a new miniseries, and this is a prequel to the events of season 4, right?
Yeah.
The previous season, where we saw Eddie Munson, his epic storyline, but people blaming him because of satanic panic, Dungeons and Dragons, all that. Well, this is going to show the origin of that group coming together, how he became the de facto leader, and how Lucas, Dustin, and Mike joined up with this, and getting some glimpses within the worlds they create and the battles they have and everything. So I think this is really cool and fills in a little bit of that storyline that we kind of were just thrust into right at the beginning of that season. This is going to be by Jody Hauser, Eric Campbell, and Diego Galindo. So if you're a big Stranger Things fan or a D&D fan, I think this should be really, really cool. We've got our A cover here. We have a Lambert variant, which I love. That looks like a classic manual.
Yeah.
We have a Pueblar variant. It's a very like World of Warcraft org.
Mm-hmm.
And a Wilson variant.
And next is Godzilla Heist #1. And this sounds really, really cool. So this is written by Van Jensen and the art is by Kelsey Ramsey. And if you guys read Kaiju Score from Aftershock a few years back, this sounds a lot like that. It's about a young man named Jai. He discovers that Godzilla responds to specific energy signals that he can send out in the atmosphere. So he uses that to initiate attacks by Godzilla at a certain area. And then while Godzilla is destroying whatever it is that he's destroying, Jai uses that as a diversion to pull off high profile heists. And that's a lot like what Kaiju Score was. It was basically Kaiju Score was a heist book.
Yeah.
Oh, but there was also kaijus, and every time there was a kaiju battle, this little team of thieves would use that to go pull off these heists. That's exactly what this is. But these heists put Jai on the radar of some very dangerous men who want to work with him to pull off the most dangerous job the world has ever seen. So yeah, so this is a heist book, but with Godzilla. They're just going to use him as a distraction. So it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be fun. This is our A cover, and we have an Earl's variant.
It's very cool.
Mhm.
I like this one. I like how the Godzilla in this looks like the classic rubber
Yeah,
suit Godzilla.
right.
That's always really fun. Next up, I've got Justice League: The Atom Project. It looks like they actually updated this cover, because I think when we did it before, the cover was not final. So
Yeah.
this is really interesting. Kind of looks like not Grodd, but Ultra Humanite or
Yeah.
something on the cover. Anyway, so we really like the Atom Project #1, and this one. Sorry, my
Oh.
my iPad is trying to listen to me. This one is continuing the story of Captain Atom, who was kind of one of the big power losses in the entire thing, which was, for a man who is that powerful, that kind of volatile, I guess you would
Yeah,
say.
he blows up a lot.
He's been played as the like, hey, like you don't need him around type thing, but then also he's been a main character. But now he is desperate to not get his powers back. I mean, think of the relief you would have not feeling like you're constantly going to explode all the time.
Which too late, right? Because doesn't he already have his powers
That's
back?
what I thought was weird about the solicitation, but it does say that new strange powers are transforming him from the inside. So I don't know if that means they kind of hinted almost that he got bonus powers in the
Yeah.
first one, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with that. But we're going to find out more about that. And there is a mutiny led by Ryan Choi against Ray Palmer and some of the other people working on this project, and we don't quite know why. But I'm very excited to see what all this is about, because the first issue was definitely a setup issue with kind of the mystery of, like, we saw Nathaniel Adams, I believe is his
Yeah.
name, like on the run
Yeah.
and everything. So
And there's two voices narrating the whole thing, but we
Yeah.
don't know who it is, right? So
yeah, it's Ultra Humanite and his
and
brain.
Grodd, yeah.
And Grodd. it's the gorilla committee. So this is our A cover. We have a
Oh.
Lyrics cover, which is very cool. And we have a Kevin Wada cover. And we're starting to see the Captain Atom on these in a new costume.
Yeah.
Remember we saw that on another variant.
Uh-huh.
So wonder if we're still going to be getting.
Why is he shrinking there?
Because maybe he can do that now too.
Maybe.
Who knows? He maybe end up being like the ultimate power guy.
Yeah.
He can do everything.
All right, so next up is a new book from Boom called Bronze Faces. This is going to be a 6-issue series. This is written by Shaf Shobo and the art is by Alexandre Tefenki. And this is about childhood friends Timmy, Sango, and Bonka. And I'm sorry I have to read my notes on this one because there's a lot to this one. They reunite on the eve of the British Museum's historic purchase of the works of Timmy's father, who was a Nigerian artist named Adewale Balogun. And Timmy has been invited to this event as a guest of honor, but the museum is heralding. But what the museum is heralding as a triumphant acquisition, the three friends see as nothing short of a brazen cultural theft. So the museum's like, "Hey, we got this awesome thing," and Timmy and his friends are like, "No, you stole that from who had it before." So they concoct a scheme to steal back the artwork themselves, but then they come into the possession of this document called the Register, and it lists like dozens of colonial era stolen artifacts, and they turn their sights on these things called the Benin bronzes, the British Museum's cache of nearly 1,500 works of art stolen from the Kingdom of Benin. So it almost kind of sounds like the what's that that image book that's coming out, the Reverse Indiana Jones,
part of the Horizon.
The Horizon Experiment. Yeah, it almost sounds like they are going to, all of these pieces of art in the museum, they're going to steal it all and give it back to the cultures that it came from.
Yeah.
So a 6-issue series of that. Hopefully, I explained it decent enough.
The solicitation for this was like a paragraph.
Yeah, it was like this. So I had to try to condense it down. But yeah, definitely. If you want to read it, you can check infinityflux.net. You can read the whole thing. So this is our A cover. There is a Tefengi variant, which that's your interior artist right there, and there's an anniversary variant by Dan Moore.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Savage Tales Winter 2025 special. This is cool. Bringing back the Savage Tales moniker. They did this last year as well. But this is multiple stories from Dynamite and some of the properties they own that maybe don't always get the spotlight. So we're going to have Mutiny on Mars starring John Carter and Deja Thoris, which is really cool. We're having a Vampirella story in this called The Real Thing, and a Captain Gulliver Jones with his War Chapter 3. So if you're familiar with some of these more pulpy characters, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be really cool to get those back in one of these. Plus, there's a special bonus 40-page one-shot that is included in here. It's a reprint of Kurt Busiek and Benjamin Dewey's Seeing Red from the pages of Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red, which finds the she-devil with a sword seeking a precious, priceless item in the forbidding mountains of night. So just a cool one-shot that you get a couple of short stories plus a reprint of a story that you may have missed. So this is our A cover for that. We also have a Baren's cover, which is cool to see. I want that team-up book would be really cool. And we have a Linsner cover as well. Next up, we have continuing stories. So we used to call it, 2s and 3s, whatever. But there's so many stories that are past 2s and 3s that we still really want to talk about. You'll see with this first one for sure. But yeah, continuing stories.
So yeah, the first one we're going to talk about is Batman number 157, and we want to highlight this one because this is the final part of the Dying City story arc, and this is the final issue of Chip Zdarsky's run And everything that has been going on in this story arc, all the cards are now out on the table. Everything has been revealed, and Batman's going to have to find the strength to fight a war on multiple fronts because the fates of Jim Gordon, the Riddler, and all of Gotham rest in his hands. And this is the final issue, like I said, final issue of this story arc, final issue of Chip Zdarsky's run. Next issue, 158, which we'll talk about when it comes time, that is going to be the first issue of Hush 2 from Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee and all those guys. So, wrapping up this final story arc here before we get into some. I don't want to say before we get into some big stuff because this has been a pretty big, cool story too. But before we get into the major Hush 2, we're wrapping up this story here. So we have our A cover. We have a Tony Harris variant. There is a Tony Daniel variant. There's a Mitch Gerads Hush variant. And there is a Jorge Jimenez foil variant. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a lot like he did another cover for, and I think it was Batman in the background with Tim Drake Robin in the front. Yeah. I don't remember what issue that was, but
with the yellow and everything.
Yeah.
It's a cool kind of homage to that one. Next, we have All New Venom, issue number 3. And this is continuing to be a very interesting book. Issue number 2 was really interesting with an ending where they eliminated one of the possibilities of who this new Venom could be. Which, may be true, maybe not. Who knows? It was a very kind of up in the air reason why this wasn't that certain person. But we're continuing on with this mystery about this Venom. But in this one, the all-new Venom comes face-to-face with Dylan Brock, which has kind of been one of the big stories of the first 2 issues, is Dylan basically being like, I'm going to get my symbiote back. So now, what's going to happen when they go face-to-face? Meanwhile, Madame Mask is making her move against AIM, but is she doing it from inside the black and gold symbiote? As another suspect is eliminated, the answers are closer than ever. So, once again, each issue, they're going to be eliminating one of the suspects. And we didn't really see Madame Mask in the last issue. Right. They were looking for her, but we'll have to see. Doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be the one eliminated from the possibilities.
Right. So I guess if they go that route, that maybe means by the end of issue 4, we'll know who it is, because after this one, there'll only be 2 left, and if they eliminate somebody else in number 4, there's only,
Yeah, so I'm guessing maybe, first volume is going to be like, who is Venom? Yeah. So... anyways, we got our A cover here. I really like this A cover. I think that's a really strong
And let us know in the comments who you guys think it's going to be. Because I'm curious. I'm still predicting that it's none of the 4.
Yeah.
But
after this last issue, it almost made me think no one was in the suit.
Maybe.
The way it reacted.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's got a personality of somebody. But
could be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments who you think. But I do love the mystery. It's a little bit of like who's the Red Hulk.
Right. Oh, that went on for a long time.
Yeah. So, but I do like a mystery of who's behind the mask. This is your A cover. We also have a Federico Sabatini variant and a Giuseppe Camuncoli variant as well.
Next up is EC's Cruel Kingdom number 2. And the solicitation didn't really tell us much about what the stories are going to be like in this, but just in case you don't know, this is just like Epitaphs from the Abyss or Cruel Universe. This is a collection of short anthology stories that have a fantasy flavor to them. But again, we don't know what the stories are going to be in this. We do know, I think there's only 3 this time. Written by Cameron Chittick, Chris Condon, and Steve Niles, and art by PJ Holden, David Lapham, and Andrea Muti. So the first one was great. The first couple stories in it, or a couple of the stories in it, had a little bit of a sci-fi flavor and also a little bit of a horror flavor to it too, but all against the backdrop of a fantasy setting. So we should get more of that here. This is our A cover, and there is a Tom Fowler variant.
Yeah, I love that we've now got these 3 pillars of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy. We need like a detective mystery one.
Ooh, that would be good too.
Next up, we have Cable Love and Chrome number 2. This is a 5-issue miniseries. There's not a whole lot of information about this issue number 2. It's more of kind of the same, the setup, all of that. We've got Cable in the future, where the techno-organic virus is kind of wreaking havoc on people. He's able to keep it off because of his mutant abilities. But some of the people who have it don't have any mutant abilities. They're just people who are kind of dealing with this as well. They're in Salvation Bay. He's teamed up with this resistance leader named Avery Ryder. Issue number 1 was really cool, and it just sounds like more of them trying to, fight off this big, weird corporation that's kind of got them in this little quarantined zone. But from the little hints we saw in the time slide issue, I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more about that entity that's kind of
Yeah.
lording over them, because I feel like we're going to see some familiar faces in that as well. So this is your A cover for that. We have another Mark Brooks animated. I love Bishop's hair here. It's very like
It's
suave.
very Gaston.
It's
Yeah.
very Gaston. And we have a Tony Daniel variant.
Next up, we have Two-Face #3, and in this one, Gotham's underworld is thrown into chaos when Scarface is kidnapped. And I just noticed the cover. Two-Face looks like Scarface. That's great. And is this an isolated incident, or is it the work of the Shadow Hand that Harvey has been tracking and talking about over the last couple issues? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is gonna cause havoc in the White Court and all that stuff. This has been a fun series so far. So we have our A cover right here, and there's a Christian Ward variant.
Next up, we've got Sam Wilson, Captain America #2. This is also a 5-issue miniseries. We got issue #1 of it last
I think
week.
it was last week, yeah.
Last week. But in this one, you have now this new company, Eagle Star, that seemed really good and was doing good for disenfranchised people. Show their true colors, especially when Sam tangles with their head of security, the Red Hulk, but not Thunderbolt Ross Red Hulk, that other guy with the mustache.
Maverick? Is it Robert Maverick?
Something like that. Yeah. So this is on the cover. That is not the same Red Hulk that you're going to be seeing in the movie and all that. But somebody new is about to join the fray, and that is Josiah X, which they've kind of been teasing, and there's some concept art for him and so, which looks really interesting. He's got a new mission and a new look, but is he there to help Sam or pursue his own agenda? So I'm looking forward to reading this one. The first one I thought was a really interesting concept. I was a little disappointed in the Red Hulk, but I am down for watching a Hulk fight a Captain America.
Yes.
So let's go with that. This is your A cover. We also have a Black History Month variant and a David Messina Human Torch variant. They're doing some of these Human Torch variants of like what if other characters were the Human Torch, which mostly just looks like what if this character was on fire.
Was on fire, right?
Should be like the 3rd-degree burn variants.
Next up is Deadpool Wolverine #2. I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed the first issue because I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, but it was a really cool issue. Probably because Deadpool didn't talk that much. Maybe that's why I liked it. Now, the solicitation didn't give us a whole lot of information in this, but they do tell us that Deadpool and Wolverine follow the clues from their lost mission. It says lost mission. I wonder if they mean last mission. I'm not sure. In an attempt to save the present, and a monstrous attack dredges up some new twists on ancient creatures. And are they? I don't know what that. I thought that was just a dinosaur at first. Maybe they go to the Savage Land.
It's like
Maybe
a mummy dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the first issue was a lot of fun, so I can't wait to check this one out too. So this is our A cover. We have a Bjorn Barons, a Human Torch variant, and a Marvel Studios variant.
Yeah, I love the first issue because there was a lot of Wolverine doing cool Wolverine stuff, and that's just what I'm desperate for.
Same.
So, very cool. Next up, we have the Rocketfellers issue #3. I love this series. It is so much fun, but not a whole lot of information about this issue. It just sounds like some more of, you got the family, they're being pursued by this character you see on the cover. I don't think they really know they're being as pursued as closely as they are. They kind of been just living their life, getting comfortable in the present day. But it sounds like this villain is creeping ever closer and closer. So yeah, just if you're not reading Rocketfellers, it's a ton of fun. It's like the Fantastic Four meets Swiss Family Robinson meets the Jetsons. It's just a blast. This is your A cover for that. There's a Mike McCone variant and a Chris Burnham variant.
Next is New Champions #2. The first issue came out this week, and I thought it was I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because it's a team full of young heroes that I don't know.
Good art too.
But yeah, good artwork. The action was good. It was fun. So in this one, well, I should say at the end of the last issue, Hellrune, she used a spell to summon the new champion star. She found herself in some trouble, and she cast a spell and said, "Bring me the new champions," or whatever. But it worked a little bit too well, and it actually brought her a bunch of young heroes. Like, it brought her way more characters than she was expecting. And who among them will have what it takes to become a new champion? And this one is going to focus on this guy on the cover, the smooth talking magician Monty. He seems to be a really good candidate for this team, but is he more than he appears? I don't know. And who is the mysterious Magentrix? Or I guess she looks like a young Magneto. I guess it's Magentrix, or is it Magentrix? If she's Magnet, is she
Yeah.
Magentrix? I'm not. Actually, it probably is but Magentrix. That makes her sound like she's purple. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we're going to get a little bit of a deep dive into these two characters on the cover here, and we'll see if they end up joining this new champions team. So this is our A cover. There is an Aletha Martinez Black History Month variant, and there is a Derek Chu variant.
She can't be all bad. She's got a bunch of cats. But
Yeah.
they are in bird cages, which it's not the best place to keep
And she's
a cat.
levitating all the cages, so
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't drop them.
Oh, that should be a big villain. Worse than Magneto. Next up, we have one that we haven't heard from in a while. This is The Missionary. This was the Ryan Stegman and Jason Howard book from Distillery. Issue number 1 was really cool about this guy who willingly got possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
Which actually the demon is helping him. Like the demon is nicer than the guy he possessed.
Right.
And so it's a weird juxtaposition between those two. But now you've got more forces that are going to be coming into this from both sides, and he's now stepping into a bigger world, that kind of stuff. But issue number 1 was really, really fun, and I'm really looking forward to issue number 2, which I'm guessing this is a 3-issue miniseries. Usually these Distillery books are, but it's been a good couple months since the first issue. So we've got our A cover here, and we also have a Ryan Stegman variant. And there's also a red band edition of this too, just like there was for the number 1. But it's not considered a variant. It's considered like it's different on the inside as well. Next up, we've got Cover Gallery. So this one is mostly just to show you some really awesome covers, not going too deep into what the books are actually about, but covers we want to make sure that you didn't miss.
We're going to start with Batgirl number 4, and we wanted to show you this really nice Souza Micah variant cover.
We've also got some really nice Birds of Prey covers. This is the Dan Panosian cover. This is a connecting cover. Along with, we've got this Serge Arcuna variant, which he's been doing fantastic covers for Birds of Prey, and a Edmund Gallman cover as well. Which I think if Black Canary is just on a cover, I'll probably put it on here because I love Black Canary.
Yeah, for sure. So Poison Ivy number 30 has this flip book. It says it's a special flip book issue, but I don't know if it's like one story in the front, you flip it over, it's another story on the back, or if it's maybe just this cover. I'm not too sure, but this is the A cover, and it is a flip cover like you saw there. We also want to show you the Jenny Frizen cover and the Pablo Villalobos variant.
That one's cool. It's because it's
a little bit of a flip
card,
too, yeah.
And it's got the queen symbol. Very cool. Next up, I just want to show, because Mark Spears is all the hotness right now. This is Shazam number 20, the Mark Spears variant. And I'm always happy with a cover that has Mr. Mind on it. I love that caterpillar.
And of course, we have to show you Amazing Spider-Man 67, the Scotty Young cover. I've been getting all these covers. They're great. And just want to tell you, in this one, it does say that Juggernaut and the X-Men get involved to help Spider-Man save the world. We know that Juggernaut is part of Cyttorak, and we saw a little bit of him in one issue. So him and the X-Men are going to show up and join Spider-Man.
And we know we're going to be getting Jugger Spider-Man coming
Maybe,
out?
yeah. Spider-Not?
Spider-Not?
Juggerman? I don't know.
Juggerman. Yeah, let's go with that. Next up, I wanted to show you a few of these like we showed earlier. Mark Brooks has been doing these kind of, what do they call them? They call them animated style. They're really Disney style is what he was going for. Which is funny they couldn't say that because it's like they own it.
Yeah, they own it.
Still, want to show you a few of these. Starting off, we have Deadpool number 11. We have Immortal Thor number 20. I love that one. It's very like Tangled or something. We have Psylocke number 4. We have Uncanny X-Men number 10. Love that one. I also really love this one because I love them together. This is the X-Men number 11. And I also want to show you the X-Men number 11 Swaybeat cover with Magik and some very scary demon faces around it. Next up, we've got Bookshelf. We wanted a special place to talk about all the cool collected editions of stuff spotlighted here. So,
Starting with the Justice League by Scott Snyder and James Tynion Omnibus Volume 1. This is going to be $125. It collects the first 18 issues of Scott Snyder's Justice League run and also all of the Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth stuff, the 4-issue Justice League No Justice miniseries. I think there's a couple issues of Teen Titans in here and a few other things as well. There were three oversized hardcovers that came out about this a while back. Those are the ones I've got, but now all of that's being put into one nice shiny omnibus.
next up, we have Chew, the Nomnibus, and this is so great. So, if you're not familiar with Chew, this is by John Layman and Rob Gilroy. This it came out around roughly the same time of like
Yeah.
Invincible, that kind of stuff. It's somewhere between like 2005, 2008, something
Mhm.
like that. This collects all 60 issues where we follow our main character, Tony Chu, who is a Chubopath, which means if he eats something, he can kind of see its past, and that makes him a great detective for being able to like track things down. But also, it's not only food it works on. Sometimes he has to bite a severed finger
Yep, I
or
remember
really
that.
gross stuff
Yeah.
to figure out what happens. You also get introduced to a lot of other characters that have similar kind of food related powers, people who could make you taste anything or change experiences and that stuff. You also have Poyo, who is the well, it comes with the one shot Demon Chicken Poyo, but he's the big fighter chicken that is an awesome character. This is a phenomenal series with fantastic art by Rob Gilroy, so don't miss out on this. It is $64.99 and it comes with the 60 issues plus Secret Agent Poyo, Warrior Chicken Poyo, and Demon Chicken Poyo, the three one shots of the homicidal chicken.
Next up is Plastic Man No More, the hardcover. This is going to be $24.99 and collects the 4-issue Plastic Man No More Black Label miniseries that just wrapped up. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've never read a Plastic Man story like this before. There was some crazy things that happened in this, like moments where we talked about it later. Said I cannot believe that they did that in
Yeah.
that book.
Major characters die in this.
Yeah,
Major DC characters.
and again, it's Black Label, so it's
Yeah.
not connected to anything.
And it is very disturbing at some points as you watch Plastic Man essentially melting into
Yeah,
nothing
turning
throughout
into
the
a
series.
puddle. Yeah, carries his arm in a bag for most of the issue because
Yes,
it's
so
dripping.
gross.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and to have it in a hardcover is going to be awesome. And again, $24.99. I'm
Next
excited
up,
for this.
I can't wait for this. Even though this has already been printed before, this is a new printing of Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson, Argent Star. And this is some people's first big introduction to Daniel Warren
It
Johnson.
was mine.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I know he had done work before this, but this is the first time I ever really saw this and was like, this doesn't look like anything else. You know,
Yeah.
I really sat up and took notice on this one.
This is fantastic. So, one of my favorite, if not maybe my favorite Marvel characters is Beta Ray Bill. And this is a phenomenal series of him losing his ability to transform from his little meek self into his. He gets stuck
As Beta Ray
as
Bill.
Beta Ray Bill
Yeah.
and can't transform back. Something happens with Stormbreaker, his hammer. He has to seek a new weapon. His new weapon he goes and gets is incredible. This involves a sentient starship
Mm-hmm.
and just tons and tons of over the top action. So, highly, highly recommend this collected edition. Was it 5 issues?
It's either 5 or 6.
Yeah, but phenomenal. So for everyone who loves Daniel Warren Johnson from now his Transformers and so many other things, don't miss out on Beta Ray Bill because it is a standalone story. You don't have to have read any other of like the Thor series is going on at that time, and you will not be disappointed. This is phenomenal. Next, we have new printings, starting with
The Detective Comics number 31 Facsimile edition. And this is I hate to say first appearance, but this is the first time we saw Batman use the Batarang and also his original flying vehicle, the Bat Gyro. And this is just a classic story. I mean, this was only like 4 issues after his very first appearance. So it's all being reprinted here with all the original ads. And there's going to be the original cover, blank sketch variant, and a foil variant also.
yes. And next up, we have Daredevil #1 Facsimile. So I could have sworn they've done this before. They might have, but it's really cool to be getting, first appearance of Daredevil. We've got the show coming out very soon,
Hmm.
especially once this comes out. You can see the classic yellow and red suit, all of that. I think one of Marvel's greatest characters. Read his first appearance right here
Hmm.
in Daredevil #1, which is also going to be the regular cover, a sketch cover, and a foil edition. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think of some of our new, upgrades and different stuff. We have more categories that we didn't even use in this one, but that will kind of make it a little easier to define what's what
Yeah.
as we go through the show.
We won't have to lump so many things together that don't
Yeah,
seem to fit. It's just that this week wasn't as big
yeah.
as some of the future weeks will be. But yeah, there's going to be more stuff coming, and the look of this will change over time as well. But yeah, we couldn't wait to roll this out to you.
Yes, absolutely. We've got other changes coming to some of our other shows that just kind of give them a fresh coat of paint and all of that as we move forward into 2025 with a bunch of other cool ideas that we haven't yet announced.
Hmm.
So stay tuned for that. A lot of people requesting different stuff, and we've heard you. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can place your pre-orders. Your pre-orders are due Sunday by 9 o'clock. That way you don't miss out on any of these books. And when they are ready to order, when they come in, they will be there waiting for you, whether you shop in store or shop with us online. Either way, we'll have them there for you.
Yep, and just wanted to remind you that when you do go to order your books, if there is something that's a little bit off from what we mentioned here, again, we are recording this one day early,
Mhm.
just in case there's really bad weather tomorrow. But yeah, so maybe one thing might
If there's
change, but I doubt
if
it.
there's bad weather, I'm going to be sitting at home building a Lego set.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. Uh, yeah, so all of that is true and correct. So until next time, see
See
ya.
ya.